We're back at it again. Welcome back to the channel. Bass Brothers Fishing DMV. Naeem here, and about to continue this epic journey on this Alumacraft 1232 John boat. Everything is shaping up. Today, we're going to be working on a deck extension. And what's unique about this build, if you don't know already, I'm doing this extremely lightweight, all 1/16 inch aluminum. I'm using the lightest material for both framing and flooring, all around everything. So this will be the first time I'm building an extension like this. Let me show you what I mean. I've got the front deck done all the way through the middle deck riser right here above the bench seat. I'll be extending the casting deck about 15 inches towards the rear of the boat. In order to do that, I will need to rivet the sides of the boat and make support brackets along the side 15 inches out, and this will support the deck. So I'll be doing that on both sides. This is something that I avoided doing on my boat just because it was a first time build, and honestly I wasn't confident enough to do it. But it's inevitable, guys. If you're doing this kind of build, you won't always have a bench seat and other things to pivot off of when supporting your decking. You may have this completely gutted and need to run railings all the way across your boat. So I'll be demoing that today in case anyone out there has the same situation and wants to know how to do it. I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm sure there's tons of different ways to go about doing this, but we're going to show you how to do it. Let's get into it. So these will be 12 by 16 inch hatches. The reason I'm going 15 inches out away from where the hatch begins is because on these dry hatches, there's an 1.5 inch track all around the hatch. So I need to account for those 3 inches while I'm doing my framing. So if I was to just demo with this piece of angle aluminum right here, here's the 15 inch mark. The track of the hatch, which goes around the lid, will rest right on top of this 1.5 inches right here. So all around the hatch, I will have an 1.5 inches. Okay, in the middle, I'll probably put 2 pieces together to create the divide between the 2 hatches. We'll see. I haven't measured that out yet completely. Just wanted to give you an idea of why you need the extra space when using these dry hatches from Nate. All right, I've got my line drawn for the edge of the hatch. Next, I'll install all the brackets that will hold the framing together. So in all, I'll have 2 center brackets here. I may also have double brackets on both sides and then run a track right along the side of the boat, and that's to support the deck flooring. And with it being a very light decking, this will be 1/16 inch decking. It may require additional support underneath so the floor doesn't dip. So right now I've got most of the brackets in on the bench, and I'm going to pause at this point and work on the side of the boat, because if I was to rivet in another piece right here, it's going to limit my space that I have to work with to be able to rivet stuff into the boat. Okay, I don't want to lose the angle I need and all of that. So I'm going to work on these railings on this side, and then I'll put another bracket here, and I'll do the same on the other side as well. Just thinking a couple steps ahead. I don't want to frame myself into a corner and then I don't have the proper angles I need to be able to access, especially if riveting right here in this corner in particular. So a couple different ways I'll measure the track that'll be riveted to the side of the boat. One, I measured the height of the front deck to the side of the boat. So the bracket that attached to the boat from the gunnel measures 1 inch, basically from where the deck is to the bottom of the gunnel. All right, so I've got 1 inch. I'm going to measure down from the top 1 inch and make my marks. I'll also measure the height of the deck somewhere in the middle and measure it off here. I'll come up from my line right here and come up that height as well and see if it matches with what I have on the side of the boat. I'll probably do a few other measurements just as I go, but just wanted to give the general idea of some of the measurements you can do when deciding the height. I imagine if I was doing a boat from scratch and didn't have any bench seats, and I'm doing all the hatches, everything inside the boat all the way through, I would just measure from the gunnel down. Once I determine the height that I want the deck to be, I would just measure my height down, like where do I want the deck to start, and measure that all the way around. 2 different approaches, 2 different situations. For what I've got going on, I'm going to use a combination of both. I'm going to measure the deck that's already built, and keep that same measurement going off of the bottom of the gunnel. I'll also measure up from the line. This is the pretend wall that will be right here for the hatches. And I'll measure up and over here. We'll see how all that works out. That's the plan. All right, so I've got tick marks, and I know you guys can't see it at all, but I made some marks in pencil going all the way across. And you also saw me with this guy right here, measuring straight up from the line for where the hatch will stop, straight up. And I used my leveler to make sure that I'm not leaning left or right. So I had to shift it over, make sure that it's level right in the middle, so I know I'm completely vertical, and then I drew a vertical line. So I'm now going to measure my angle aluminum piece from where the deck stops right now to that line. And then this is a technique I saw from Michael Lopez. So shout out to Michael Lopez, Tiny Built Nation, the mastermind. I'm going to use his technique and cut into the angle aluminum every 2 inches on the surface and underneath. And what that will allow me to do is bend the aluminum to fit the contour of the boat. Because of course the boat is not a straight line like this. I'll need to flex it in or flex it out so that it can lay flush against the side of the boat. Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. I might have to cut out a V here and there just to make it bend a little bit more. So you just saw me marking this spot right here. I do need to cut this out so that it goes over the rib of the boat. All right, not bad. I really hate angle grinders, but they do come in handy. So from here, I'm gonna rivet, and I'm gonna use closed rivets. I could use open line rivets because this is above the water line, but I'm gonna go ahead and use closed rivets just to play it safe. I'm gonna pre-drill these holes, mark my spot on the boat, get to drilling. All right, so I made my mark, gonna drill it out. I went with 3/16 inch rivets because I wanted this to be extra strong. I didn't want to go through all this and do 1/8 rivets and they end up breaking or something. These will last the test of time. Hopefully you guys can see that the rivet is a closed rivet, so no water can get through that. And this is well above the water line, guys. If you're in a boat and your boat is this far down in the water, you've got a lot bigger things to worry about than a rivet. I did a preliminary bend. I just bent it down a little bit just to see how hard it would be to bend it. But I'm gonna leave it like this until looks like I got about another, actually, I may bend this down some more once I get all the rivets in. I was gonna wait till I have the decking and everything ready to go so I could just do one final adjustment to this. But yeah, the 1/16 definitely makes this a lot easier to do. If this was 1/8 inch aluminum, it doesn't bend at all. So that would be a lot harder to work with and probably would require some machinery and stuff like that. But I think this is going to work out absolutely wonderful. So that's the inside shot right there. So here's the outside of the boat, and it is completely flush. Riveted in there nicely and extremely strong. Very happy with how this came out. I'll probably get some green touch-up paint and touch this up. Ultimately, this boat will be painted black by the owner. I am very impressed with how this came out. I mean, it is very, very, very strong. No doubt in my mind at all, this was the way to go. You could stand on this and this isn't going anywhere. So right now I got this set at a complete 90-degree angle, which is very important when doing your hatches, especially when dropping in custom pre-built hatches. All right, so everything is shaping up pretty good. Similar to the front deck, I used a very long rivet and riveted all of this together with one rivet. So the rivet goes through both angled pieces of aluminum and both L brackets that are right here on both sides. Here are the extra long rivets. You can see the grip is very long. It's probably hard to tell, get the perspective on a GoPro, but This is a 5/8 inch grip, so it's very long. We'll go through everything. That is very solid. I mean, this is 1/16 inch aluminum, and I mean, it's solid, and I haven't even put the angle pieces across and made the full box yet. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and run the track along this side of the boat. This will be decking support and ultimately support for the hatch as well. All right, this side's done. Looks really good. Completely flush with the front deck. So this is my extension piece, and everything is level. Always feels good to see this right here, guys. When you're a leveler, it's saying you're right in the middle. So I'm gonna do my best to explain what's happening right now. Turned off the camera, had to do some thinking to figure out how I wanna support this piece right here that comes out. Again, the hatch is gonna be here, and this will take standing weight as well, body weight. So I was gonna run something here, and I still might, but I don't think I'll have to. Instead, I took off the support I had riveted right here, and then notched out a piece right here, and notched off across here. So you guys can see I have a little lip here. And the reason is I'm gonna need that lip right here, which is the thickness of this aluminum. So this will slide in just like this and work as my support here. Okay, because again, I need everything to be flush. And in the end, it's gonna be something like this, going all the way across here. So that's the basic layout that I'll have. So this beam going across will support this as well. This vertical beam will support all the weight that's going to be placed right here. Let me show you how I'm countersinking these rivets. And apologies, my GoPro is off. I didn't even know it. So I already attached this piece right here. Everything is very strong. I'm very satisfied with it. I don't think I'll need to put anything between here and here. When I go to put the final panel along this side right here, I'll decide whether I'm gonna stick a piece of aluminum right here, just to give this section some support going that way. So when you're countersinking rivets, one, you want to buy specifically countersink rivets. The ones that I'm using are 1/8 by 3/8 inch countersink aluminum pot rivets. They're working really well. First thing you want to do is drill your hole like you normally would for any rivet. All right, pre-drill your hole, which I did already. Then you'll need one of these specific bits that will drill out the hole some in order to sink the rivet flush. A question I had was, how do you know when you've drilled far enough in? If anything, just drill some. If it's not flush, when you put it in there, drill it out some more. I've done that 1,000 times already, where it won't be drilled in enough, and then I will just keep going in little by little until it's flush. After a while, you kind of get a hang of it. You kind of know what it's supposed to look like, and then you're good. The difference between these countersink rivets and a regular rivet, the countersink rivets have a flat grip. The surface right here where the round part is flat, and most pop rivets, regular pop rivets, has a dome top to it. So it's flat, of course, so that when you finish riveting it in, it lays flat. This drill bit right here is key. Tons of them on Amazon. This is just a random one that I picked. Seems to be working out pretty good. So what I'll do next is drill this out with the drill bit and then pop my rivet in. And the rivets, the countersink rivets, work just like any other rivets. You use a regular rivet gun for it and it works like a charm. All right, take my countersink rivet. So right there, you can see it's pretty much flush. Okay, rivet it in. Trying to get the light right. You can see I just did that top one completely flush. This is a down look, vertical look, and this is horizontal in front of it. here we go. It is finally done. The deck extension is complete. I may add a few more rivets here and there, but I want to wait till I get the hatch lids in and fit them in and see how it's acting, to see if I need to add any additional support, rivets, aluminum angle, anything like that. Maybe some straight bar here and there, but for the most part, this is it. It is very solid. I'm very impressed with how this came out. Can't wait to get Nate's hatches in here. Again, this boat will be featuring the dry lids from Nate Custom Boats. Nothing in these hatches will get wet. I'll do a full review of the hatch lids once I get them. Should be here in a few days. Deck risers right here, insulated with foam, and of course the big front hatch up front. All I have left to do from framing is to frame the rear of the boat, and I'll get on that next in the next video.